Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wanna be the mountain solo in the sun, 'cause I'm dirty dancing, fucking be on the zing. No, you can't, you know I'm feeling. Calling listen, calling a solo. Homies know they in, they know that they's a home. The BBC, the BBC, the BBC, the BBC, the BBC, the BBC. It's him! Batman shit.
The problem here is that
Okay, Jed Logic, what's your opinion?
both Elon and Grumps have massive weak spots that for some reason they elected to double down on.
The sort of stuff that's about to leak about you, and your days as a fake outrage peddler are now completely numbered. Prepare for the whole empire to come crashing. Stand it. It's the same takes on fucking. Yes, Assange a shitter. Okay. Yes, I get it. Yes, Assange is a shitter. Terrorist support. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, yes.
Grums quote tweeted that, says you can tell a lot about Ubisoft with how much money they are to terrorist platforming streamers, right? But instead you continue to be the punching bag in this right here. So
again, like that, the only reason why the Ember controversy is still a thing is because he has refused to do that, refused to just take it and go like, yeah, it's taking way too long. I'm sorry, etc. Same with Elon Musk too. Like again, nobody will look at the world's richest man who's going to space and go like, no, you have to level your own account.
Right.
Dude, I think Arch is right as well. I think the problem is Elon presents himself as this fake gamer when it's bullshit, right? Whereas if he was like, yeah, I want to play at a high level at that time, so I paid some fucking Asian to do it for me. I mean, yeah, it makes the attack a lot weaker, doesn't it? You know? But it's the fact that he got exposed and he tried to act like it wasn't that he was paying someone to do it, and he had, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not that big a deal. It's much like the pirate software situation. Some of this stuff is not that big a deal if you just own it and move forward. The Grum stuff is more complicated because he is fucking people over by not making the game, right? But even then, you probably still say something to not like look like a retard over it. But with the Elon thing, it's even simpler. Just didn't want to bother leveling the character, and that's it, you know. Imagine, yeah, Tony Stark. Would we care if Tony Stark didn't level his Path of Exile character? Like, probably not.
Fuck, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, what a dog shit opinion.
When you think about it, because this guy prides himself on having worked at Blizzard, you know, the Firefall shits. He prides himself on being this game developer of some renown, when he clearly is just at best a totally incompetent buffoon, you know? The majority of people in commentary overuse the sweeping word when the anti-woke crowd exists. Shinji, I actually think this is a very good point. Some of these anti-woke people, you watch them talk about their friends who release shoddy media. The best example I can think of this is when Eric July released that totally dogshit short trailer for that comic that he was doing. And, you know, they go hell for leather criticizing the fucking mainstream Hollywood shit, but then when it's your pal, all of a sudden, they got nothing to fucking say about it, you know? It was, like, ridiculous just how minimal criticism there was of that. And also, yeah, Critical Drinkers movie, which fucking sucked, by the way, you know? And again, just like the award show thing, more power to people that want to do something. If you want to give something a go, if you want to try and create some media, I think that's wonderful, and good luck to you. But it's the fact that you go so hard at Hollywood and actual media industries that actually do it, and you're like, well, I'm going to do it better, and then you don't do it better, you know? And that thing, what was it called? What was it called? What was this little thing called? It was
also dog shit opinion.
Supposed to be this, like, movie. But then when it released, it changed to TV proof of concept, right? And it was like, okay, so it seems like you've kind of, like, over-egged the pudding here. You've gone to a higher point than you think you could achieve, and you've done it whilst, you know, going hell for leather criticising the industry. Rogue Elements, that's it, yeah. Yeah, it's called Rogue Elements, and it's not very good. Anyway, we got sidetracked. We'll probably have to just cut the whole bit out, because this is actually what we're talking about if we do a segment with this.
Ego is getting in his way.
Oh, I agree with that. I want to point out that I agreed with a couple of things he said, right? I'm not like, everything he says is moronic. No, I can agree with him and disagree on...
Okay, Poop Lord, dude, you're literally annoying, okay? What about the best movie ever for comparison? I'm not saying that it needs to compete with the best movie ever. Someone pointed out that there are some movies that don't introduce the characters, and I'm saying, but then they do other things which get you hooked. That's the point that I'm saying, okay? the difference. That's what I'm responding to. Obviously, I don't expect that to reach the level of Heat. But if you can say, well, you know, other movies do this, yeah, but they do it differently, and that's why they're great movies. That's the difference, even if they don't introduce the characters.
We're trying to the point. We should never have gone off that tangent.
Like, wasn't the point that he's doing something that goes against the Hollywood woke tards and then turned out to be utter shit? Did that not happen?
Now,
Also, by the way, I don't hate Critical Drinker. Like I've said, I like some
Looping.
of his takes on movies. I'm not like an anti.
they went back and they looked at. So okay, we'll have a very interesting bar. When I'm paid for this viral tweet from this past week that had 11 million views, that pretty much took up all my viewership and all.
Well, I'm not saying that they need to fucking fire up an EFAP episode and go, let's talk about how fucking shit Critical Drinker's movie is. Okay, I'm not.
Stun locked for 15 minutes. Hello. Okay. Day. Six. It's one of those moments when you ask yourself, is Chud Logic always this sensitive full of shit takes? Realistically, a lot of the time, Chud Logic can suffer from the exact same levels of looping or conversational topics that I could. The problem is that Chud Logic, in his infinite wisdom or lack thereof, he gets stuck on the tangent where he wants to look at everything from the drama angle, and he doesn't get it from the gamer angle. On top of not getting it from the gamer angle, he gets stun-locked by his chat because he goes way too hard trying to do things from the content position instead of doing things from the actual argument position. So more than likely, he's not going to really have anything to say other than what's about to come up with blabs. Because he just keeps going back and back and back and back trying to argue with every single retard in his audience.
Defending it because I'm pointing out the reality of what's going on, and you can't fucking hack it. And you need to find some way that, oh, you're just defending a shit game. I don't fucking care, I'm never going to play it. I don't want to play as a fucking Black Samurai. It sounds like woke slop, okay? The point is that Grums, he's the person that is attached his ego to this. And now he's got egg in his face. And rather than just take the L, he's desperately trying to claw back a win and he can't. And now look what's happening.
We're in the middle of people wouldn't survive on the internet. Like in 10 years ago, people were like, you wouldn't have survived on X in 2025, right? Like people are gonna say that shit, you know. So yeah, but like you get hit in the mouth, you take it like a big boy, you pull up your pants, and you move on,
Yes.
right? And I think that's the best thing that you can do. Arch, what are your thoughts on all this?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And that's kind of just the thing with the internet. You can survive pretty much anything so long as you just keep trucking. Pretty much literally anything.
Normal people got mad. No, they didn't. Normal people did not get mad. You're fucking coping if you're going to act like it's not terminally online pedantic autists that got mad about the Black Samurai, okay? A normal person's reaction to the Black Samurai is, oh, that's kind of cool, right? Other than that, it's fucking autistic terminal online retards that are super bothered about the Black Samurai thing. I think it's dumb and I didn't like it.
I'm out. Case point example proof positive. The video is about Grums. He then somehow at 42:24 is on a tangent about what normies are going to be interested in and what fucking autists are going to be interested in.
Yeah, and I was like, that's stupid, right? But some people got so fucking invested in it, it's deranged. There's this insane derangement that's happened over this game. Normies don't give a fuck, dude. Normies are like, yummy, yummy, my latest Ubisoft Assassin's Creed slop, let me eat it up. They fucking love the Ubi slop, okay?
And Dark Side Phil is still around.
Yes, it's been well established that Dark Side Phil will well last everybody for sure. We know that for sure. But like,
And a lot of that keep trucking though comes down.
People were like moaning about the desecration of like sites in Japan. Dude, but no, it was gamers originally that were fucking pointing this out. And what fucking planet are we on? What happened to free speech, motherfuckers? A fucking state, bro. What a deranged fucking response as well. Literal feckless, fucking principleless, retarded freaks. I despise you. I literally fucking despise you with every ounce of my fucking being, bro. It is fucking deranged. It's totally deranged. It's inconsistent, dude. Holy fuck, bro.
Grums, all I know from Grums is his X account, right? I've not dug into I've seen all the Ember stuff, and I get it. And once again, I do feel that he should 100% address that and
Anyway, let's move
take a
on.
step back from X and focus on that, right? 100%. I think that if he did, I think he could knock out his game in 6 months potentially.
Yeah, instead of 8 years.
Right.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
But I do think it's okay to be critical of him. I think he's done good things. I think that he's fucked up here, and it's okay to take the L on certain things. It's important that, you know, in the interest of being fair, that you you know, that we and everybody else just kind of laughs at it. We would laugh. We're laughing at this the same way we'd be laughing at Mercante getting ratioed, right? It's the same fucking thing.
It's silly.
You know?
It's
Yeah.
funny.
It's silly. It's funny. And as I said all along, we're gonna laugh at stupid shit that happens online. The correlation between the two is that both their egos are gonna get in the way, and they won't let them apologize or say I took the and take that L. You know, so it is what it is. So, any closing thoughts on that? Pez says Craig, just take the L. Okay. Okay. I mean, I'll take.
Oh, they're lying. One of my understanding of it was that there were some gamers complaining about the desecration of shrines. The Japanese government said that they were concerned about in-real-life desecration, and Ubisoft took it out of the game because of those concerns. Is that not what happened? That's my understanding of it.
The L, like, that's the interesting thing. Is like some of the chat can be like, Labs with the W, Craig with the L, and some chat can be like, Craig with the W, Labs with the L. There's nuance on Craig's side. There's no nuance on Labs' side. Whatever. Like, whatever. We're not telling you how you should feel. This goes back to what we just talked about 20 minutes ago. I'm never going to tell you guys how you should feel about something. I'm never going to tell Blabs how she should feel about something. And that's why our conversations about this have become so heated, because there are times where I feel like Blabs is telling me how I should feel about a certain topic, which I don't take that shit from anybody, right? Like, you should feel this way about this. Fuck you. I don't care who you are. I'm gonna let you make your own decision. I'm gonna make my own decision, right? So, you know, if you feel this way about Grums, fucking A, cool. If you feel this way about Grums, fucking A, cool. I don't care. As long as you done the research that you want to do about it and you feel the way you do, awesome. You know, but I think we can all agree in this situation, you should just take the L. So.
Well, can I just, like, before...
Chud is telling us to get a grip when there are free... Wow, Chud is telling us to get a grip when there are people...
So he completely has no opinion about what just happened in front of him concerning the back and forth between him and him. And he does not have the other video here, where they then lost subs over the conversation they had from this, because he's still stun-locked by his fucking chat.
People that aren't Chud with other opinions on something that are different to Chud. Wow, great contribution. Thank you for that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do now that you're not going to be able to contribute such compelling and interesting takes in my chat because you're banned forever. Wow. Wow, thank you for letting me know there's people with opinions that aren't my own, and for some reason you're holding me to the standard of their opinions. I'm glad that's the case, but you won't be able to do that anymore.
I put a pin in. Let me just ask you something. If you think Grums is for free speech or not?
I don't know. I guess. I haven't really asked him my question.
No, just based off everything you've seen from him.
I don't know. What's that have to do with this conversation?
I'm just asking you.
Ooh,
Yes, I don't know.
Bit awkward.
Okay.
Little bit
Just a
awkward.
question.
Is it like a gotcha or something that you want to
Definitely not a gotcha. It's just more me asking you your thoughts on it. If you think he's free speech or not.
Yes. Like I said, I don't know. I'm not Grumps. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, he completely missed it. He missed it. He missed it. Retarded. Horrible talking points, horrible opinion. Horrible talking points, horrible opinion. Can't wait for Judge Logic to have his moment in the shade where people will turn back on him. I'm not one for necessarily needing there to be people who push back or turn on Chud Logic. What I want is for Chud Logic to not go so damn hard. Getting lost in the thicket, Carl said, as he already knows the argument somebody else will say. Because what he just did there was that he was so stun-locked on trying to talk shit about Critical Drinker and fucking Eric July, he missed the fucking forest for the reeds. And he missed the opportunity he could jump in with. Something that should be easily obvious for him to figure out, but he just didn't. He didn't catch it. He didn't catch it. Some of the worst ways that a person's content could be covered. That's one of the most annoying ones, where he didn't even engage with the goddamn point because he was too busy fighting his chat. People having opinions, that will spring content eternal. The content creator can't even be able to get to the material because the chat room is desperate to force opinions about everything onto everything and litigate every single talking point and every verbal flourish because they have to repeat another person's opinion autistically, or insist that because the streamer didn't focus exactly on what they wanted to talk about, that meant that the conversation needed to be halted for 15 to an hour and 15 minutes at a time because they can't shut the fuck up. It's horrible. It's the worst kind of content. It's the biggest dog shit. Hello, Shribbler. Has my money returned to my account yet? Answers likely say no, but supposedly they're supposed to have arrived. Okay. First things first, I get up, I go to store, I search repo, 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 and I buy the $10 Clipper game. Yes, tonight is the final cut because we are at the last 2 videos, so that we can be done with it and we can move on to new versus chat topics. I told you I'd watch that shit in its entirety to its final conclusion, because there's no way we were watching 8 videos in one night. My brain could not handle it. I have bought the funny stupid meme game that I know I'm going to be forced to have to play, because that's what streaming has become. It has become look at the funny thing the streamer is reacting to, because I certainly do not have enough money for the Kims, as they call it. Right now the internet is inundated with 3 things: the lead up to all the games that are about to get an update for Steam and or a release for Steam, the funny meme game, Repo, and never-ending talking points about the people who are playing said games, with a little bit of an insight from this game called Enzoy, which is basically The Sims, and it's got cat shit. Not the shit of a cat, but the aesthetic of you work at an agency where you basically are playing The Sims. If I have that right. It's a bit strange. I think it's mostly because people saw the funny meme thing, and that's what they're going off on. Okay, I have a couple things here that I want to look at before I start. So we'll try to knock that the fuck out. I mean, South of Midnight is not going to enter into the zeitgeist until it launches, right? And I already have to pull multiple parts of double duty and triple duty of content. So, accounting for the Daredrop campaign that's behind Merchants of Rosewall, that's the Deadly Path. That's one of the many things I have to do. Not accounting for all the other projects that I'm editing and that I'm trying to put out either in the last week of March into the first and second week of April, so that I don't fall back and fall behind on my own standard for my own resolution. Airdrop submission versus chat shit. That'll keep happening all the time. Daily live stream shit. South of Midnight. And based on what we just got the other day from the presentation that I went over with Path of Exile 2. Path of Exile 2. Helldivers is this month. Multiple different games for community group gaming. And then anything else that comes up inside of that, which I believe is like 4 different things. Because I have mutuals that I just asked last night if they'd be up and willing to go do shit. Off that list that I told them. Where is it? 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 Marvel Rivals, Content Warning, Phasmophobia, Don't Starve Together, PEOE 2, Deep Block Galactic, Helldivers 2, Fragpunk. There are several different games that I can give my attention to, as always, and just like always, I can only dedicate so much time to it, because if I'm doing multiple things at once, more than likely everybody's not going to be able to be involved in it, right? So, hypothetically speaking, let's say I spend any amount of time with South of Midnight. That'll be like maybe a week, tops, that I think I would spend in that game entirely. Then, Helldivers 2, for content to get into and look at the game's scope now, removed from all of the in-shittening events, deep inside the in-goodening events, where people continue to still not talk about Helldivers 2, by the by. Not to mention and not to account for Once Human, but Once Human will be for June, I think. All of those changes, all of those updates, and all the content that'll happen as we do that. Because I'm not touching League for at least any point until September. So, League's not even a factor as I look at certain things like that as mid-season updates. The only way it comes back into the fold is if somebody is going to sit with me as my dual partner on camera if I play ranked. For all these different games, any amount of time, focus, contribution that I spend on them, or community group outreach, or crossover community events that I do with other content creators, that controls everything else that will happen in time. So having multiple things to do is great, but I also don't want to fall behind on my personal projects. So then it becomes a question of investment, time investment and involvement, and how fun is it to keep doing? And all the things that go alongside that. Because it's fucked up. This is where I become responsible for what attention gets what attention. But, you know. Ergo is the thing that causes most of the interest. Right. Second thing I need to do. Looking at the mid-season scope update from the opinion of Ninetales. Since this is the character or one of the mini characters that I want to add to my rotation of League. Have been playing it. They've gutted the champion so that they could rework him for a mid-scope update. I want to see what happens.
Welcome back, my boys. I hope you guys are excited for this one because, boys, I've spent the past week on the PBE testing out everything. I've got everything summarized. I'm going to do it all in one take, so sorry, there's not going to be too much editing, but I will show you a few things on the screen as we go. I'll start with summaries. So if you haven't already hit that like button, hit that sub button, and let's just get started because I'm going to cover top and jungle separately. But we'll start with top lane. So if you play top Yorick, don't click off the video yet. I'll pretty much go over what I think to expect. If you play top Yorick, I think top Yorick is going to be in a decent spot. Levels 1 to 6, you should be much better. You should feel much more comfortable in top lane. For the runes, I'll put them on the screen right now for you. But essentially, I want you to run Grasp. You can run Conqueror if you like Conqueror, but in reality, I think Grasp is just better because if you're fighting in the lane, if you're trying to get CS, you still have that ability to now queue a champion, and that queue a champion.
I don't think that's the important takeaway there, Ninetales. The reason why you take Grasp is because your Q is now on a 6-second timer. Assuming that you're staggering and you're playing footsie and meaties with the champion, you're gonna be queuing their face every other 4 seconds. And because you now gain ghouls off of doing that, you can now last hit and use your ability on the champion. That was probably the biggest problem with Yorick. Yorick, unlike any other champion that could be able to have mechanics around the wave, has to last hit minions in the wave with Q. Therefore, old Yorick automatically loses the lane, because he's using abilities on minions and not on enemy champions. For a kit that has missing HP return and additional damage hits, and then a lower ability haste threshold that allows him to Q, to the point where with just enough ability haste, it's damn near every 2 to 3 seconds. Auto attack, Q, auto attack, Q, auto attack 2, and every single time he's doing this, he's gaining damage and he's gaining movement speed from phage passives. At the same time, he's now anywhere between 80 to 120% faster than you, based on all of the different slow mechanics he could be able to work into his kit, from his spell kit to his wall block, permanently staying on top of your head, auto attack Q, and now we now have the ability to not only generate those ghouls in the lane to continue the punishing of that cycle, auto attack Q, but chasing you down, and they all attack with my bonus AD scaling, and they never fail to hit their damage anymore. And I'm gutting them with armor. That's the reason why. You could probably get away with press to attack as well. This definitely means that there's more reason for him to get alacrity than for him to get ability haste, and he just has to live by the ability haste now. Light Strike is definitely on the table. Any other bruiser item that gives him attack speed, catch up, slow up, speed down is definitely on the table. Cleaver, definitely on the table, but more than likely he's still going to run Grudge. It's better for him now. They're still getting separated, but no matter what he does, you're going to still have the same kit, and you're still going to have the same loadout. You're just going to be tilted in the direction of attack speed or ability haste plus attack speed, or lethality plus shielding damage bonuses plus attack speed. Whatever it takes to kill your opponent is what you end up buying as your 3-item core, which controls the choice there. So that's cool. Carl, this makes me want to be violent. Why are you wanting to be violent, Megalag?
Matters so much more than you realize, because if you're stagnated, all you want to do is just get your ghouls, prepare your power level, because Yorik's on a power level, he's max strength at 4 ghouls, whereas most of the champions versus top lane.
Well, you won't have to think about it anymore after today, once we finish today's live stream, which happens on its own versus chat. For this, the timer counts down to when I need to step away to both prepare that live stream as well as to properly prepare dinner.
Can go from 0 to 100 like that, straight away. Yorik's not the same. We need that ramp time to actually get our arsenal together. So being able to hit the champion with Q, and then go back, hit the champion again, and then the third time you do it, you can then go Q, raise ghouls, chuck your E, and then just go all out onto that champion is so nice. And it's such a, like, it should make your laning feel significantly better. You should feel so much better playing top Yorick. And it's for that exact reason I'd suggest you run Grass. With the Grass proc on that champion every time you land your Q, just that extra little bit of damage, and it's a trading keystone, you're running a trading setup.
I look at my cell phone and I just realized I just called myself a liar. No, I don't have to do it in a few hours. I have to do it right now because she wants it in a fucking crock pot. I'm not talking to you. Right. Any other fucking things people want to poorly communicate to me? Like a crackhead. Hopefully not. Did I put the lid on it? Looks like I'm getting butter rice with a side of food. Right. Horror on her side account. Right, I'm back.
So, in terms of items, I don't think anything has really changed. If you want to just run Bruiser Yorick all out, you can. Cleaver Charge on the Aegis will be absolutely fine. Top lane if you want to run that. Otherwise, I'd probably suggest you invest into something like Trinity Force. You're going to be playing very Yorick heavy in the coming patch.
Yeah, so exactly basic standard, bog standard.
So even items that are all Yorick heavy, like this, you can see this is Yorick heavy. Every single one of these gives a benefit to Yorick and a lesser benefit to ghouls. And that's the items you're probably going to want to pick up for this coming patch. Don't underestimate Blood Mail. Blood Mail, because of the amount of health you're getting in this kit at the moment, the more tank you are, the more tank the ghouls are. And because they don't die in one attack anymore, you can actually get it to the point where they die in 2 melee attacks or 4 ranged auto attacks, depending who you verse, of course. But it's extremely nice to stack health, and Bruiser is the only way you can stack health and get damage out at the same time. So I'll put a few sample builds on the screen for you, but I would probably suggest if you're going to play top Yorick, Trinity is a really nice item to invest into this patch. But it does have some flaws, because the Yorick nerfs did hit top, I think, personally, harder than jungle. The Yorick nerfs actually hit quite a lot after level 6. Now, before we get any further, I just want to have a quick little discussion around what Freak said, because Freak in his last video, and you're going to hear a lot of people say this, the rationale for having weaker ghouls later is because you have higher access to ghouls, right? Now you're going to hear people tell you that. You're going to hear people say, oh, you have more ghouls, so your ghouls have to be weaker to compensate. It is a flat-out lie. It is the niche. You need the most niche scenario to actually properly benefit from your Q leaving a grave on a champion hit to be a substantial damage increase. Like, it's almost never. Seriously, I watched probably 10 games of Slog play top. I watched Shepard play 10 games of Slog up top. I played my own about 15 to 20 games of Jungle Yorick. I can tell you this Q does nothing after level 6. You won't even notice your Q change playing top Yorick post level 6. I promise you, the grave you leave, you need to actually go to the replay and watch it, because it never races. Because the sad fact is, your maiden is already giving you permanent access to ghouls. And that's the problem with this champion, is that these bug fixes, these changes are really, really nice. I'm not saying I don't like them at all. It's just a shame that they don't matter after level 6.
The problem about them mattering after hitting level 6 is that all of these changes are a buff to Yorick in the jungle, and it is a buff to Yorick when he has no maiden. The strongest and the most detrimental problem of any champion whose entire kit revolves around an always permanent uptime ultimate is that, hey, if I destroy his ultimate, then he's just irrelevant. And the problem with Yorick is that all of his kits and all of his items and all of his tools do not benefit him when he does not have access to the most important part of his 5-spell rotation, which is his passive. He cannot make active use of his passage, because his passive was designed for sustained burnout. He is a tank buster. What do you do to kill a tank? You drain their resources and you kill them dead. He has minimal use of mana, and if he starts using things like dust to throw at people, or wall to trap people, he burns his mana resource, just like any mana laner. But the only way that you can mitigate that mana use, automatically summon ghouls. Maiden automatically summons ghouls. I can't seem to push this Yorick out of the top lane. He has permanent side pressure push on me. How do I kill him? I know. I'm going to demand a 4v2 top camp on him, and we're just going to kill his maiden. And then once his maiden's gone, I can shove on him permanently. Always have top lane pressure. Except that eventually, once he gets ghouls after last hitting under tower, he can now do a hard shove back, and it automatically resets in his favor, permanently. Again, assuming that you're not playing a champion that is outright and outright a king and queen of top lane. One of the most retarded brain dead ones. Even more broken than Yorick could ever be in any context. But because they're not allowed to manipulate you and abuse you without having to use a brain cell, it is something that is considered an unbeatable challenge. Especially if your name's not Aurelia. Or Camille. Or Tryndamere. And then for those 3 matchups, Yorick has stepped this far outside of his tower. I'm Tryndamere. So you're not going to notice the change on Q unless you have no maiden. And then, if you do have maiden, nothing changes. It's the exact same champion, except now you can be able to raise ghouls by last-hitting things, meaning that you no longer have no resource upon which to get ghouls on the wave between your passive and your Q, and then because you're on top of the wave, you have access to the passive with the Q faster. On top of it stacking faster, meaning it runs down faster, which means you get more ghouls in between waves faster, meaning on every second wave instead of after every third wave, and only on larger cannon minions, can you be able to generate your actual playstyle.
It literally is just such a shame. Like in this scenario, I have 2 ghouls, I have Maiden. This is one of those niche scenarios where you will benefit from this. So you auto E, go in, auto Q, the ghoul raises. Absolutely terrific. Absolutely terrific. But
that's like literally it. Now when you throw dust at people, when you get on top of them, it's not about I summoned 4 ghouls, then I threw 4 ghouls at you, you auto-attacked 2 of them, and I immediately lost my damage from 2 of them, even though they leapt in and possibly even failed to jump the wall correctly to put off the damage of my passive and my kit, because they do the damage that my character deals. I walk on top of you, I throw out dust, I slap you in the face. I started with 4 ghouls. You tried to auto-attack 1. I have level 3 wall. There are 3 points of HP in my wall. Even if you have an auto-attack reset, you now have to spend at least 3 seconds of auto-attack plus an auto-attack reset timer to get away from this wall. Then you auto-attacked a ghoul. I had 3 ghouls. There is a grave on the ground. That grave now immediately rises and now jumps at you like a maniac. I am back to 4 ghouls. I am beating your face in. Life good. Any other context doesn't matter because they're still going to run at Yorick like a fucking maniac, and this is either where the Yorick just completely flips the game on his head and wins because he's better and he has better battle IQ and knows how to space them, or he dies because 4 to 5 people are running at him in a straight line, trying to murder him, and if they can't murder him and catch him, trying to murder his maiden, and trying to do everything possible to kill that shit, believing that by killing the maiden, he has lost his ability to play the match. So, low elo buff, high elo nerf, but now he's actually usable and doesn't have to do a tricky-dicky start in order to have the ability to play the game conservatively. He loses his current HP damage, which means he no longer can be able to do an E-start trade that can start out with slowing people. He wants to be able to have Q, almost always. Rarely ever is it going to matter.
that's assuming you're an unprepared Yorick, and that's the problem. Because if you're a prepared Yorick, you've got 4 ghouls on the ground, you've got 4 graves on the floor that you've left previously from being in the lane. At some point, you get an engage off, and it's that engage exactly that determines how much damage output you have. So like you can see, for example, if I go to straight level 16, my ult is now max rank, so it brings 4 ghouls. Now, if I go for the engage from a distance, I E, run in, auto Q. If you assume that the champion kills my ghoul, either, anyway, by the time I even get to the enemy champion to land my Q, my E is expired. And because my E is expired, that means that grave that I just left can't be raised this time, it has to be raised next time.
Yes, exactly.
And because it's kind of like an investment play. Now, the next time I fight, I can E, and now that grave's going to raise if I don't have 4 ghouls yet. But bear in mind, that means I have to stay nearby. If I leave, that grave goes. And then all of a sudden, that change was absolutely for nothing because the grave despawns. So it's not, in a lot of scenarios, it's not actually a buff to you at the time. It's more of an investment play. It's even a fallback. It could even consider it a fallback. If something goes wrong, you got to back out, but then you get a...
It's a secondary recovery play. Instead of trying to kill you now, I kill you in the next rotation of E. And if I can't kill you in the next rotation of E, I summon the ghouls that was created from that grave, and I continue the on-set pressure. In fact, there's enough argument that with this wave shoving inwards, and then a wave arriving behind enemy tower, this gives Yorick access to be able to use Tiamat again, because now it gives him access to be able to use anything that gives him an auto-attack reset, in time with health and lethality, and ability haste, to be able to proxy a wave behind tower, if he's not using Stridebreaker, which more than likely he will be using Stridebreaker. Proxy wave behind tower, simply take the wave away, and then slowly chip them away and increase the gold gain. Welcome back, number 2 gold income character in the game. As it's supposed to be.
chance to re-engage after, you've got that addition.
I will, however, will never forgive Agurin for him basically ruining everything. The second Agurin picked up the champion, despite picking up the champion and trying to learn him as best as he can, he first timed him and just demonstrated a problem. And now the same problem exists with Nefiri.
Additional grave ready to go. The other time you'll notice it is if you're rotating. Let's say, for example, your jungle's doing scuttle. You've just put 4 ghouls top and you're rotating down, and there's an enemy champion. You can E, auto Q, you've got a grave, and you've got a fresh ghoul. Now, bear in mind, that's 1 ghoul. If this is 1 ghoul, if you're level 11, that's 1 ghoul that you're trading for your mid game being extremely weaker and your late game being extremely weaker. At the end of the day, it's pretty much the Q that's carrying this rework. Unfortunately, the Q bonus damage turns you a little bit more into a Nasus play style, where you're just doing really heavy damage Q bonks on people. Some people will like it, other people won't. I suspect majority of the Yorick playbase likes the style of playing as a minion mancer, and majority of the changes they've done in this patch actually go the opposite direction. They're turning you more into a juggernaut frontliner, and I think it's a bit disconnected from what the playbase actually wants. I ran a few polls on my channel, and it was like 85% of people want to play.
Yes, I voted in this poll. I had to sit down and really think about it. If I thought that, was I happy about these changes? Personally, I would like more damage, for one. Two, I do not like the fact that you took away my current HP damage, because the thing that he was designed to do, which is what all Juggernauts was designed to do, was to have the ability to take on tanks, take on fighters, and take on bruisers, is removed from him because you took the current HP damage. You could get into a game loop where you can still use the Q, and you can still use the E, but now you have to split your points between W, Q, or E. There's no investment to using E as a buff. Because, originally, because it had current HP damage, you throw this at the enemy. It now has 100% scaling on the E, which we only ever build one item of AP, which is Leandri's Torment. Doesn't matter. And you're building that after 2-item damage core to increase the ratio and stay ahead of the curve of your adaptive force balance. Throw dust at enemy, level 3E, generally secure the last hits at a distance if you're being starved out or trying to be zoned off away by somebody who wants to stand on top of the last hits to try and punish you with a slow push, put points into wall, and now I stand at my tower line, I have Maiden in the back pocket, and now I get to be able to play the game in such a way where if you walk away from that tower, I'm taking your shit! And that benefits Yorick, because now he has the ability to leverage his tool without having to without immediately reaching 6 and having to say, okay, I have to turn the pressure in the lane now. I must throw out Maiden. Oh, look, there's 4 people in my lane. Instantly. I don't know how that happened. Even though top lane has always been able to rotate for these grubs, people just decided this objective doesn't matter because they're still playing in Season 13, 4v2 ramming bottom and leaving top side for the enemies to take, permanently, including their jungle. But at the same time, I originally voted for Yorick damage on the second poll, but then when I thought about it, Yorick exists to be an exigent form of damage at a distance as Gangplank. Gangplank's game playstyle and the Yorick playstyle are the exact same, but he gets to place his barrels wherever he wants to, pop those barrels out instantaneously. Yorick has to be able to get ghouls off the wave and off of the effect of his ultimate. He has the better game-changing ultimate. If we're just going by pure minion damage and the passive playstyle of there are things in my kit that does damage with and for me, Neferi outclasses Yorick right now. And does infinitely more than him. Doesn't have to worry about how to summon the ghouls. The ghouls are actually a part of her passive, and her passive has them come back immediately. Reworked W means that they appear out of the ground, and they just do their job. Don't have to think about them, they're just there. The E not only is a jump over walls, but re-summons them to her position and heals them. The new ultimate only gives her a shield on the second dash, but on the first dash, she has a targeted dash that, unlike the original W, gets used all the time. In this case, with the extra summoning of dogs off the first W, it also has the ability to drop aggro from tower. And then, of course, the passive bleed that was already a part of Q. Throw Q at target, dive into tower, kill champion with the dive ability on R, refigure power aggro with W. Second target is trying to run. No, you're not. Walk in with a shield comparable to that of Eclipse. Murder them. High damage, and she's mobile. Blows him out the water. That's why he's being played right now, permanently. Does this remove him from relevancy? Not really, because you want to put more damage on the Yorick. So you want him to be the split pusher he was already meant to be. But you also took away one of his best tools in the game, which was the original formulation of Boarding Party on Hullbreaker. He's not gonna build attack speed items and return to being a Hullbreaker champion. That item is dead. It only relevantly exists for people who can simply run at a target and be uncounterable. So, it gets to exist for Urgot. Urgot was already abusing it without those stats on it, so he doesn't care. Range top laner things. Trundle, because he's able to get on top of somebody, run at them in a straight line, press Ghost, press Q, smash Q, and just simply stop caring and stop thinking. Bonk, 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 bonk. Plus or minus attack speed items and plus or minus Blade. Or Trundle, or Tryndamere, for obvious reasons. Or any champion that can jump on top of a target do the exact same thing, but has a built-in stun kit that allows them to be safe, where Yorick only has a wall. Because he doesn't allow himself to have the fighter flee playstyle of Jax. He has to be all the way in, or he's halfway out. Because he's always playing on the outskirts of a fight. Because that's how the ghouls would require him to play. In that playstyle, I would rather have more ghoul damage. Because the only way to make Yorick relevant is that when I throw that fucking E at you, it should be a bomb. 4 ghouls jumping at your face, dealing 120% of my damage, plus the potential to crit, plus the spell effects that I have in my kit, means that every time I throw that fucking E, that should be 1,000 damage on your face. That's fair. Because if that's not fair, then we have to change, not just Gangplank, but also, Jace. Because all the problems that exist with that playstyle is also existing in Jace. You have the pieces and parts of all 5 of these champions and other champions like them. You want him to not be so oppressive to champions that are designed to get mogged by him at a higher level. You want to take away his ability to have mid gain power once he reaches level 6, to now have opportunity to assist on objectives. But you also want him to be considered weak enough that he's not so much of a lethal deal, because people refuse to learn how to deal with Yorick. With a way that is stronger than, I have to camp him, you have to camp him, if you don't camp him, it's a problem. Because realistically, the ultimate is the thing that causes that. But if you can't dive Yorick under tower, and the real answer here, by the way, the real solution to Yorick is that you have to be willing to dive the tower. People are not willing to dive the tower because they're retarded, and they continue to behave as though they have to camp bottom lane, because they don't know how to play the video game anymore. Especially now in this season. As long as that is the problem, Freak's gonna do what he wants to do, while still harassing the player base. And everyone else is just gonna be at the mercy of his decisions, because he decided this is how the game works now.
Play through ghouls. And it's a little sad that we're losing the ability to play through ghouls, because I can't even exaggerate how much damage you lose in the mid game. And we'll go over it, we might as well go over it now. So you can see ghouls right now have a flat amount of attack speed at the start, so you can see their base is 0.5 ratio, and then they get Yorick's attack speed scaling. Biggest benefit of this is it updates dynamically, and that basically means that if I buy an attack speed item, you can see it's 0.72, but by Trinity, it updates straight away to 0.87. So if you go back to base, if you buy a new item, the ghouls you have will benefit immediately from that. So that's a terrific, really nice bug fix. It's completely different on live servers right now. Live servers, they don't get any updates. Unfortunately, you'll notice I'm a level 18 Yorick right now, and my ghoul only has 0.87 attack speed. I can tell you right now on the live servers, ghouls have 1.19, I believe it is, 1.19 or 1.94. So if you actually look into context of how much attack speed I need to get to match the live servers, you're looking at a lot. Hang on, we're almost there. Around about that. So you're looking at a bonus 134% attack speed to match it. I think the number break even was 110, but don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure it's 110. So you need to get this much attack speed just to match the live servers ghouls, which is really, really frustrating.
It's also really, really dog shit, because that's really, really expensive. And we're not that type of split pusher. You don't need to have that. We have to have damage. We have to have health, attack speed, damage, and ability haste. And unfortunately, the kit does not allow for you to take stats like that without still having bruiser stats. And that's 3-item core right there, technically. So 3 items that will provide you speed, damage, attack, ability haste, and general overall power before you've ever built the fucking mask. Which just might end up being a skip in this season. If there is a character that has to be punished through doing it, then sure. But then also you have to think about Collector, because now we have to behave like we actually are fucking Gangplank and stay on top of them and punish them and mog them and run them down. If there is a fucking light strike item inside of this, you don't have that slot. Instead of having 3 counter item slots, you have 1 counter item slot. If there's a tank, you replace that with fucking Leadhead's Torment. So you want him to build nothing but attack damage, because there was benefit to not building nothing but attack damage, but you also want him to build attack speed. It's too expensive, it's not going to fit into Yorick's kit.
Because you just got to factor in the AD nerf as well. Like, if this is a full build Yorick, and I'm going to go for my normal items, so let's say I've just got, there's my 5 items. This ghoul already...
Boom! Right there. That right there is the reason why it doesn't work. Experimental Hexplate does not fit him. He has to build that just to get the attack speed buff, and to still have something that gives him damage and speed. Death's Dance, counter item. Gauge, counter item. No boots. We unfortunately have not gotten to the level of Smite yet. Still no boots. So, that right there would be a full build. He has no room for the tick damage. He has no room for execute opportunity. He is built to kill a tank, but it's only for the basis around the uptime of Maiden's cooldown. And that just doesn't help you, because every single item in your kit is supposed to enable you, and that does not enable him.
Already has about 40 AD less, probably a little bit more, about 50 AD less. But with this exact build, he's also got 0.2 attack speed less. So overall, he's just a lot weaker. Now, if you factor in his health as well, that's the next problem, because unfortunately, Yorick's ghouls actually got hit triple times. They got hit in their attack damage, their attack speed, and also their max health. So in the most recent patch, ghouls had their max health reduced from 400 to 300, and I've actually got to resummon my ult here because it doesn't update ghouls' health dynamically. You can see 565. Now, last patch, it would be 400, no, sorry, on the PvE, it would be 665, and on live servers, it's probably around about 700 to 800. No, probably more, probably 1,000 actually. It's probably more than 1,000. You get a lot more health out of ghouls on the live servers. Now, to compensate that, yeah, ghouls take half damage from lane monsters and around about half from jungle monsters. But that doesn't exactly compensate it when ghouls are taking more damage overall because they're dealing less damage up front. So when my ghouls are taking 5-6 attacks to kill something extra, that means they're taking minion aggro for that much extra time. So they're going to push naturally slower. That means Maiden Split is literally going to die off this change alone. Now, when I say it's going to die, I mean the ability to actually kill someone that comes to that lane is pretty much dead. I would not expect your ult to ever kill anybody ever again in the side lane. But you can still Maiden Split top just to bring someone to that top lane and then make them play somewhere else. That is still absolutely fine. Just keep in mind, ghouls' damage is just really, really slow and their attack speed is really slow. On that note, though, we can bring up attack speed being slow and talk about Halo Blades, because Halo Blades is the keystone I'm probably going to definitely tell you to run on jungle Yorick, and even on your top Yorick mains, I think you should definitely consider Halo Blades, because Halo Blades has a very niche interaction with Yorick. And you can see, because ghouls scale off your attack speed...
It's the interaction where once you start using Halo Blades in lane, the ghouls get your attack speed for the entirety of the duration, which means you can actually be able to levy that attack speed to meet and beat that standard, despite the fact that it doesn't benefit you like it would other champions. Yorick is not trying to auto-attack for himself, he's trying to auto-attack for him and his entire family. It's a family, Tori.
At the time, you can see my ghouls right now have 0.72, but the second I attack, it goes all the way up to 1.4. That's double their attack speed, right? Now, the biggest reason I want to talk about Halo Blades is, notice their attack speed is 0.72. If I reset this game, and then I go all the way to level 6, and I summon my ult, 0.72, 0.59. From just level advantage alone, my ghouls went from 0.59 to 0.72. They got literally fuck all attack speed. But Halo Blade still gives max efficiency at the start of the game. So my ghoul, 0.59, I attack 1.29. That's over double what it was. So Halo Blade actually has a really nice early advantage for you, because if you don't even have to go attack speed. In fact, I'd probably suggest you don't build attack speed. What I'd probably suggest you do is just go whatever you're going to go. Just take Halo Blades, because you can pretty much go in for an engage at any time, and your ghouls just pop off. Look at their attack speed. You can't see it because I was blocking it, but it is crazy how quick they attack. And remember, your Q resets the cool, extends it by 1 attack. So you can auto, Q, auto, and you can see my ghouls are just going to town. They usually get between 2 and 3 extra attacks off. At early game, when your ghouls are the equal damage, equal strength as live servers, and you're just adding their attack speed up instead from 0.6 to 1. What was it, 1.4? That's crazy. Your ghouls are gonna be stronger on.
It makes him stronger in the short trade, which means the entire thing that Yorick was already designed to do. I'm on top of you, I smash you in your face. Instead of the setup that's going to be coming from having overgrowth runes, I'm instead taking domination and sorcery runes. So I'm getting Arcanist, I'm getting cooldown funded back to me when I kill people. If you fuck with my maiden, I'm going to kill you. Then I'm going to have access to Domination Runes, which means I then have access to Ultimate Hunter. My Ultimate Hunter gives me back my Ultimate faster, so they're going to deal more damage. Oh no. F. I can see it happening dynamically. F. And we should be back. They're going to exist in an existence form of life comparable to having the balls crushed. The Domination Rune means that I'm able to sit on your face. I can actually take a trade with you under the tower, reliably dumpster off my 4 auto attacks of DPS on you. My ghouls are killing you at the same time. Then I can actually be able to take the lethality proc, and now it's a question of when do I kill you? After I've triggered Eclipse? After I've gotten my Hail of Blades proc? Or after I've gotten the effective Collector? Because you're not walking away with 1 HP, 53 HP. You're either dead or dying, or I'm running you down with Ghost. And more than likely, you end up taking Ghost Teleport, or you're taking Ghost Flash. But you're still Yorick, so you probably still have to take Teleport no matter what you do. Because it's never Teleport Ignite anymore. Never. It's never Teleport Ignite.
PvE, and next patch, then on live servers, if you run Halo Blades. So I suspect Halo Blades will be S+ tier. I can't imagine running anything else. It is absolutely just disgustingly good on Yorick right now. Whether or not they fix it, I don't know. I personally don't think it should be fixed, because Yorick's ghouls are so freaking weak once it hits mid-game that we can use all the buffs that we can get in the early game. And I can't exaggerate. Like, you have no idea. 40 less damage per ghoul, about 50 less damage on Maiden once the game starts actually transpiring and you start getting towards the mid to the end of the game. It's just bizarre. You're going to ask yourself, where's my damage? And there's a lot of factors that come into that with jungle Yorick particularly, but I can actually showcase one really seriously important one, and that's with Scuttle. And Scuttle's a great way of demonstrating why attack speed is so important on Yorick. Because if your ghouls don't have attack speed, they can't get their attacks off. And if the target's moving, they still can't get their attack off, even worse. So this Scuttle, you're going to see, it's going to go its movement speed up to 255. So 161, it's going to go up to 255 in a second. Now, keep in mind, my ghouls have 410 movement speed. They're faster than the scuttle, but they don't attack it. Look at its health. It's not going down because the ghouls have a really big problem with their wind-up animation. If someone moves slightly further ahead than them, even if they're faster than that person, they still can't get their attacks off. Now, you got to contrast this completely with if you buy attack speed, because if you buy attack speed, it changes everything completely. So we'll just go and buy as many things, and you're going to notice the ghouls start getting that wind-up animation off faster. They start attacking more often. Even though they're still chasing a lot of the time, their wind-up animation is much faster, and they get their attacks off. Now, this is still a massive problem with ghouls. In fact, this needs to be bug fixed pretty urgently, because if my ghouls are going to do no damage, if this was a champion, imagine this was a champion running away. It's slower than Yorick's ghouls, and they still can't get their attacks off. And Maiden's the exact same. It's incredibly stupid.
And that's the reason why these changes were fucking retarded dog shit. It's the reason why the change that was made to Bitter Cold was dog shit. It's the reason why rage items and carve items and effective bonuses that are added by Phage in a kit was dog shit. That right there. People have been upset because they claim, I don't understand why he's killing me. What's killing me? And they said, oh, it's the ghouls. The ghouls are killing us? Oh, I guess that means that we have to have champions that are designed around just simply consuming ultimates be the counter. It's why we've been seeing Shoggoth. It's why we've been seeing an overplay of Nunu. It's why we've been seeing ranged top laners. All because of this.
But in terms of builds, I'll probably put builds on the screen for top Yorick. I'd probably suggest you run the Grass page or Halo Blades. If you're risky, run Halo Blades. I think you'll like it a bit better personally. If you're playing jungle though, now is where jungle is everything's different. Everything is completely different. Your Q change actually matters in the jungle. And it matters a lot because your ability to jungle is pretty much dictated by this Q alone and how you use it. Now the important thing to note about jungle Yorick now is 4 ghouls can no longer solo camps in the early game. So if I throw 4 ghouls at the Grom, it's not going to solo the Grom. In fact, ghouls take so much damage from camps now that it's just at all points of the game, you would pretty much want to send at least 5, which is not always possible, unfortunately. Because if you've got Maiden around you, you can't actually get more than 5 ghouls if you eat something, because Maiden will run there too, and Maiden has her own little check radius around her, and that prevents more ghouls from raising. But you'll see for this, for example, you can see this blue buff is here. We'll take the blue, and I'll just show you specifically how much damage your ghouls take, because it is absolutely mind-blowing. They're just incredibly squishy versus jungle monsters now. So you can see that one there is taken, it gets 4 hit by the Gromp, 4 attacks, kill it, and they do no damage to it. As you can
In context, the problem is that you wouldn't have the Gromp being pulled over, but this is disgusting.
say, look, I'm still around, I haven't attacked anything. Usually attacking something would have been the reason that they couldn't solo it. Look how much bloody damage they deal. It just does not die at all, anywhere near as quick as we need. So, completely unreliable. You would only want to do it with 5. Fortunately, with the new Q, it's not uncommon for you to get 8 ghouls on camps now. In fact, you're going to be pinging this passive throughout the entire game because it now says how many are nearby and how many are global. You can literally get like 13 ghouls on the map. I think the most I got was 16. It's just crazy how many ghouls you can get on the map right now.
Unfortunately, most people don't know how to do that, so they still don't know the power of Yorick.
And the new jungle clear, when I showcase the video, which will come soonish, is faster. So jungle Yorick is actually faster in its clear speed. I'm over the moon. So full clear from blue all the way to Grom, all the way across, you'll get here at 308. Around at 306 or 308. It's about 4 seconds faster than live. If you're doing the invade clear, so 1, 2, 3, 4, either red, they're blue, you can get here by 251. So that's 6 seconds faster. And you'll never believe it, but you can actually get here at the same speed as the live server pre-nerf without smiting once. You don't even need to smite to get here at 255. So there is a lot of versatility in the jungle Yorick clear. But that being said, if you're bad with your ghouls, if you're new to jungle Yorick and you don't know how to do the jungle clear, you're going to struggle because jungle Yorick's skill floor is actually somewhat high now because of how much damage the ghouls take. I can't just throw 4 ghouls at this Gromp and run. I need to throw 6 or 5 and 6 at the Gromp and run. And knowing how to get the situations where I can get 6 ghouls in the Gromp, it's niche. You need to put effort into this champion to learn it. So it's not going to be just a casual pick it up and all of a sudden you're amazing at the champion. I think you actually have to put a little bit of effort into learning the jungle clears, learning how everything works, and just optimizing everything in general. When it comes to taking objectives, say for example the Dragon and the Baron, it is pretty much impossible to do on a regular basis with just ghouls. So you'll notice if I send ghouls onto the Dragon, they take a ridiculous amount of damage now. I mean, they just die in less than 2 seconds. Just not possible, not feasible. On the plus side, if you Q the Dragon and then E, it raises a ghoul. So you can refresh your ghouls as you go, but early game, your Q and E cooldown aren't short enough for you to do it consistently to get more than 4 ghouls. Or more than 1, actually, because the second you raise it, it's going to take aggro, and my E is not up ready to press my E again. So as you can see, you can still solo it, but it's just extremely difficult to get off in the early game. Baron is a different story. Baron is just next level impossible. I don't expect anyone to be able to take this with ghouls. And in general, it is a nightmare because it one-shot your ghouls at pretty much all stages of the game. So the best way I found to take Baron is when your ghouls take melee autos or autos from objectives, epic monsters I should say, they take full damage, but they take reduced damage from AoE. So there's actually a really nice thing you can do here. And don't tell Riot this because I don't know if they're going to change it, but let's hope they don't. So if you stack health items like this, for example, what you can do is you can summon your ult or have your ghouls behind the Baron, because then they take the spread damage instead. Because remember, it's their auto attacks that make them deal full damage. But that AoE spread attack deals reduced damage. So look at how much damage that one's taking. And then look at the difference when that one there gets hit. You're probably better off putting Yorick at the back, because if you put Yorick at the back, you're more likely to have your Graves summon on this side of the Baron, so that you can see when it starts taking aggro, it takes some reduced damage. So there's some nice ways. Unfortunately, it's a bit risky to go at the back, but just one of those things, it can't be helped. Taking Grubs is harder, taking Baron is harder. You can still solo Baron with 12 ghouls. It is incredibly difficult. I would never try it in a game. It's just not worth it. Incredibly difficult. In terms of items like for jungle, I would probably suggest you look at the screen. There's going to be a bunch of items on there, but
that right there is probably the best page. And like I said, domination runes, you can be able to do sorcery if you do this in the lane, but you're doing inspiration because you want magical footwear and approach velocity, so you can become even faster once you throw dust at them. You're still going to be somewhere between Trinity, Cleaver, and forms of damage greater than a Tiamat item, but no Tiamat gives you probably the highest damage scaling and the highest scoring opportunity. And there is not a single item on that screen that is less than 3,000 gold. Expensive. An expensive build, an expensive playstyle that's going to put you on the back foot no matter what you fucking do, no matter what your build is, and you're going to hurt yourself and your head, and it's going to suck. And it's a foregone conclusion. We're not allowed to have non-movement speed boots. Maybe you could get away with Ionian in the early game, so you can have ability haste, but that's it. More than likely, it's a boot swap. But we get the ability of having actual attack damage. So, people see us in the jungle, they walk towards us. I have an amazing level of burst, and approach velocity means you're not leaving. And then I can also spot out wards in my own jungle, and wards on the return. So if I tell the jungler, does he have wards? I now know that he lied to me, and I don't ever have to regank that lane again. So rather than having to trust your team to have brain cells to get the catch off, I'm just going to force to dive on your tower.
Either way, I think Trinity is fine. I think a single lethality item into full build Bruiser is absolutely fine as well. So you can go something like Yomu's if you want to go Yomu's and then go full Bruiser, absolutely fine. Remember, your early game is the same strength, if not stronger. So if you're going Hail Blades and you go first item Dirk, you're hitting like a truck, and your ghouls are hitting like a truck still as well. Black Cleaver first, though, is very nice, because Black Cleaver plus your E reduces something's armor by 51%. So it's very, very a nice combination. And it basically does sort of pseudo-lethality anyway. So it's a nice little build, nice little item you can go.
It's more like it's a replacement that gives you the ability to make use of the fact that the E now does properly track and use your carve timing. So, you're getting the attack speed, you're getting the movement speed, you're getting on top of them, you're able to keep your distance on them. You can now fight or flee from the position. You don't have to full commit for a full send forward. You can send the ghouls forward, and if they walk into you thinking, haha, you have no ghouls, now I can fight you. Bonk, 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 and I'm back up to full power.
Like I said, though, I suspect Tank Yorick
Or more specifically, I throw my ghouls at you, I summon more ghouls as I'm hitting on the objective, and myself and the maiden continue propagating our family. Breeding like pigs.
And by Tank Yorick, I mean pretty much Tank Yorick, these items here, because they make your ghouls have ridiculous amounts of health, and if you send it onto an AP mid or a support or an AD carry who's not able to clear them very easily, you'll be amazed how long it takes them to kill a ghoul that has 700 health. It is quite a lot. Unfortunately, this was a lot higher before, but if you can stack heart steel, it might be some nice little build you can do there in top lane. I don't know. See, give it a shot. I'm going to put a video with jungle clears coming out soonish. I need to re-record because unfortunately I lost everything. But in terms of runes for the jungle, run Haggle Blades with or Conqueror. One of those two is fine. I wouldn't go Phase Rush. I don't think Phase Rush has a place at the moment. There's just not enough damage in his kit mid-game to warrant it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's nothing else I'm going to cover at this stage. When the patch goes live, I will be making content of it straight away. I'm not going to probably do any videos of my current games because Swift Play is a shit show, and Yorick is directly nerfed in Swift Play anyway. We have 4 less armor and less AD per level, and our ghouls do reduce damage to towers. So there is no reason that you can compare Swift Play to the live server. The only thing you can get out of Swift Play is you can compare Yorick's damage versus someone else's damage of his same power level. So if you have 3 items and they have 3 items, you can see what the power level is like. And mid game, you're going to struggle. Late game, you're going to struggle, but early game, it's going to be strong. You're going to be hitting like a truck. And I think net positive change, I think most players will like it. You're going to hear a lot of people complain about it, and you have to adapt to not being as mini-manty because it's very more Juggernaut. You're going to chuck Yorick in the mix and just hope for the best. But I think you guys will like it overall. I foresee jungle changes coming because there's still a lot of bugs that can be fixed. And I think jungle Yorick will be in a pretty good spot, and I think top Yorick is going to be pretty okay as well. So I hope you guys like the changes. If you do, hit that like button. Let me know what you think. Tell me, are you excited for these changes? And I will catch you guys in the next video. See you all later.
Decent. Alright. Business. 4 hours, boys. All right. Checking everything. We are in fact proper. What is this? 9 days remaining. Companion items. Calendar for events. The temperature for the calendar of that event. My companions. Black demon with horns. Black woman with 4C hair. Find someone who sells smithing items. Wait for a Voya from the Hall of Sparks to stop time sometime too soon. Get to Renown 2 by the 12th of Frostwane. To the market. Now that you have a smith for your shop, you should find someone who smells sifting materials and supplies. Oh god. Another one. Another one! Nope, sorry, I'm just produce. For smithing, you'll have to ask Gallus, the vendor from Suramon. His booth is just over there. I should warn you, though, he's a little loud. I plugged my ears just in case. A competitor! You're not welcome here. I own this stall and any territory within 3 feet of it! It's just another black man. To the game's credit, this art is 1,000 times better than Spirit Swap. 1,000 times better. And I'm not going to be voice acting all of them. I don't have the voice for that. And there are people who are at their jobs today, so it's not like if I open up the Versus chat room for the call that is going to give people the ability to come in and just voice act it together. That would be something that is beyond the scope of my channel, unfortunately. Not enough active people are going to do that. You almost hear your plugged ears, thanking your index fingers. I'm a customer, not a competitor. Oh, are you not one of those misbegotten merchants from S2? S-Stock. I am a merchant, but I'm here to buy smithing supplies. Gallus only now seems to realize your fingers at your posture is not an attempt to seem threatening. Apologies. I have a habit of making myself heard a mite too harsh for some. You have come to the right place. Suramon is known for a host of dense ore deposits, many of which are strenuous for a single person to mine and transport. You do all of that on your own? It sounds hard. A difficult task indeed, but nothing beyond the powers of Gallus, prime smithing vendor, and the pride of Suramon. Thank you for your patronage. May your adventures in the smithing trade prove fortuitous and not end in disaster caused by your mismanagement. What do I need to buy? So I have to buy both copper and tin. It has a bundle. That's too expensive. I'm probably just in need of the 1 iron ore. If I can even remember where my money is. Vendor tutorial. Multiple vendors in the marketplace. Each vendor is available every day and offers special materials specific to their crafting discipline. Item bundles allow you to purchase all the items you need for a recipe at once and at a discounted price. Now the fun part about the update is that I can now see who's sitting inside of this lobby from inside of the video game. A buff to myself, but not a buff to everything else. Quests. Compendium. Iron rod. Iron. Probably need more iron. Nothing I need this for. Six iron. And this is for food. Vegetable broth. There we are. Noodles. Sandwich. Butter. Egg flour. Butter. No butter, huh? So I'll probably just stick with the potato. And this is noodles. And that's orcish vegetable fry. So I do buy these. Eggs are expensive. And then the vegetable fry with broccoli. Limes are expensive too. And these have no use to me. Decent spread. To the shop. Craft goods. Stock my shelf supplies. Manage my storefront. Upgrade the shop. Craft in general. So this is cooking. This is smithing. Sign the recipe. Up to 7. Okay. Different types of recipes. Stock my shelves. I need to have food for feeding them, don't I? Sales, grading, stocking. 6 assigned slots. Only 1 open at turn, really. Bonuses. Customer satisfaction. Higher satisfaction after purchasing. Haggling. Convincing customers to buy at higher prices. Inviting. Convincing more customers to join the shop. Networking gives a greater bonus to renown at the end of day. Another. Customers will purchase additional items. Stocking companions can find additional items in the back. Okay. Upgrades. You to expand your shop, new sales, recipes, increase sales. Crafting upgrades, unlock new recipes for the associated crafting skill. Shelf upgrades, increase the viability and sales price of items stocked on that shelf or display case. Shelves hold multiple item stacks. Display cases only hold 1 stack of items. If those shall sell at a higher price, shop expenses unlock additional shelves and display cases. Front of house slots, unlocking additional roles for your customers to work in. Increasing your sales and customers throughput. Right. Of which I cannot afford because I'm not at renown level 2. Okay. I hope everybody else got that, because my brain's not going to be able to remember it. Renown is an expression of success of your shop in Rosewall. The better shop day, the more your reputation increases. As your reputation increases, your renown level goes up. Renown level and reputation are displayed here. Increasing renown in the community grants rewards, such as attracting more customers to your shop, your items sell for more, and unlocking additional shop upgrades. So, I spent money. I then earned some money to then have the ability to gain more money. I sold all of the ingots, so I was able to earn back a profit benefit, but I have to also sell the food to gain back that profit benefit. And thus begins the loop. So, marketing resource for items is going to be a cutting edge. I need to make something to sell, and I need to make something to then build up for the food item I need to sell. So for example, making grand stew beef is going to require me to make vegetable broth until I can get another person who can make both these things at once. So her benefit loop is going to be extra time of investment. So anything that can be prepared in a single moment is better than the noodles per se. Because first I had to cook the noodles, now I can make the orcish veggie fry. Four of these, 7 of these. Let's do 6. I have plenty of this. So back into the shop on the crafting. If we choose to go from it like this, she makes the skewers. And let's see what happens if I let him make the orcish fry. Chance to craft double, chance to reset cooldown. So he can at least craft the base item, so it's not like he has a failure rate. So now, this having been prepared, this goes on the shelf. This can also go on the shelf. This can also go on the shelf. Since they're both on cooking, that doesn't help anything. There's nothing else that I can do because I'm still not at that level yet. And we send it. And now, we have broken even on the dividend. Hello, are you Misty McDumblemounds? Medi sent me. Now this is a peggable readable elf right here. Say whatever the fuck you want about woke shit. She can catch it. You're Eva, the historian. Yes. Do you mind if I come inside? Of course not. Let me right in. I'm here to discuss something that requires discretion. I mean, shit. Say less. Hopefully you can speak in private in here. Eva's I don't know ever. I don't know ever sometimes. Let's go with Eva. Eva's eyes dart in the direction of your employees. Look, I just work here, okay? I can't hear you over the smelting. So, Medi tells me you experienced a memory. Play it honest. I'm not sure what I saw. From what Medi told me, what you experienced sounds like a memory, but the details seemed off. For starters, the swallowing, memories are typically experienced by simply holding them out in your hands. Explain yourself. The swallowing wasn't voluntary. Oh, of course, I didn't mean to accuse you. It was an accident, and I believe you. What memory motes were doing in the water, I wonder, that might be working into. However, I want to confirm whether what you experienced was in fact a memory. I assume someone has mentioned memories to you before, correct? Seagull did. A lot. Right, Seagull. With all due respect, he may not have a good understanding what memories are. Memories are a manifestation of the elemental energies unique to Rosewall. We have yet to pinpoint exactly why these energies began to appear in Rosewall, but what we do know is that they're incredibly useful, whether as sprites or memories. Sprites and memories? Yes, the elemental energy I mentioned can only manifest in two distinct ways. The first is in an elemental form, which we call sprites, and Seagull has been taken to calling blobs. There are four basic forms in which these energies manifest: air, earth, fire, and water. Those are the ones you likely have seen about in town. They can take on the form of various small animals, rocks, tiny clouds, or the like, based on their affinities. They act on their own, but they have no language outside of the occasional noise, like babies. While they are certainly adorable, they are also enormously useful to our day-to-day lives with their own role, unlike babies. For example, air sprites can fly and create small wind currents, fire spirits can heat just about anything or give off light. We found lots of ways to use to make all kinds of things easier and more efficient in Rosewall. The catch, however, is that sprites will dissipate if they stray too far from Rosewall. We're not exactly sure why. Memories are different. They manifest as smaller inanimate motes. They're also indigestible, nutritious, psychoactive. Eva thankfully cuts you off before you can speak. Fickle. They tend to appear around places where people have experienced strong emotions or where momentous events have occurred. Memories were first encountered shortly after the city's founders settled here. They weren't sure what they were at first, but realized if they held them for a short time, they would experience visions. Some thought they were premonitions, but hero historians realized memories were depicting events that the history books mischaracterized or left out. As we realized we could use memories to tell our stories better than any person could ever write them, we began phasing out written history in favor of memories. We have a way for people to relive the past and vivid detail, the sights, the smells, the emotions of people who live them, everything. This is especially true of one of the most valuable memories, the end of the Great War. Didn't the Great War happen outside of Rosewall? No duh, so how would... Oops, sorry, I'll stop listening. It did, yes, but one of the final conflicts was over Echo Mountain, beneath which Rosewall was built. When we found the memory of the battle in the Great War, for people who experienced such a momentous event firsthand, so full of suffering, I think, if you're up for it, it's better to simply show you. It feels strange to bring it here to you, but considering the Hall of Sparks is closed, I think it's best if you had a memory to reference. Eva extends her upturned palm towards you. It is a small, gleaming sphere. You feel a strange sensation like a warm light in your palm. Your eyes turn towards Eva, and she clenches her palm. You tighten your grip. You feel your lungs expanding. You are out of breath. You enter a battlefield. I woke up to the end of a nightmare. I had fallen asleep in the middle of it all. Some other soldier must have found me and taken me to camp. An excuse for them to borrow time, perhaps. I don't blame my savior. Death kept busy in that valley. And for what? I'd forgotten what kept us in its shadow, but I always remember the messenger told me. I was for less a messenger than a spectator that day. The yells and panics had ended. The shrieks of fire gave up painting the sky. I didn't feel chaos writhing inside of me. All of it was replaced by the silence of a miracle, the collective waking of a nightmare. There was a glint in everyone's eyes, even those who had gripped their banners tightest. I carried a banner I didn't believe in. Our lords had decided the river dividing this valley and the ore and the land of the other side were worth this nightmare. I noticed that my banner was also a pike. The ore was already gone. So were most of the living. The land held no value. By their stony pole, I think the ones to shake hands are Imperatrix and their drummer had only just realized this. In a desperate bid, the Imperatrix herself had come to see the fight. How noble of me, how valiant, how righteous. It was the best mistake I could have ever made. For the first time, I saw what my commands meant for the commanded. The dwindling of violent mass at the bottom of the valley was many things, but not noble, not valiant, not righteous. I believe that at that moment both sides knew that we would lose. We were fighting over embers. Why? Our beasts, pride, greed, tradition. I chose to smother those pathetic creatures, with the hope that that drummer across the valley wanted the same. Did the Imperatrix see what I did? She sounded her call first, but my reflex lingered. The one stamped into me since birth, a drummer of war. I wanted to wage on, but I saw her eyes, even as I sounded the drums, this time to drive the beast of the death back. I thought it would betray everyone who sacrificed for the cause. Perhaps it would, but perhaps it would also save so many more. We needed a record. Find a table, they said, and parchment. We need a record. If you do this, you won't ever have to fight again. I thought the drummer meant I'd been promoted. Thankfully, my lord and their Imperatrix knew the ritual already. I wasn't sure what was about to happen. The tears felt all the same. How long would this last? How could we reconcile this whole mess? We'd been fighting for a reason, after all. Sometimes we have no choice but to fight. But with that option off the table, what else was there? In that moment, we risked it all to find out. The memory relinquished its hold on you. Already 50 billion years elevated above Spirit Swap! I didn't want to shoot myself. And I wasn't forced to look at a fat character, drawn to be fat for attention. Your senses are overtaken by loss, a dread, and a revulsion. Misty McDoublemounds. You feel a profound kinship with those who fought to prove someone else's point. Is this what we were like? How would it have been worth it? How could anyone decide to do this? People think they're born however with symbols that place them in a familiar history you understand. They thought in ways to deal death more efficiently, strategies to preserve themselves in terrifying circumstances. All because it seems necessary, knowing its futility after the fact is a grim comfort. How would it have been worth it? Battles are not fought for their own sake. Blood is shed when a belief is so strongly held that the force is the only metric we know to express it. Such belief is a luxury seldom afforded to those who bleed. Misty McDoublemounds, are you all right? I'm here. Memories can be very powerful, this one especially. You felt it, right? How vivid it was, the emotions running through you. It's why Wolfsfall is so invested in memories, not just to tell us our own history, but to spread a message to others. What you have just experienced, the end of the Great War, it deeply affected the entire world. Around the time Rosewall was founded, there were factions gearing up for retaliation in the wake of the Great War. After Rosewall's early settlers found memories of the Great War, they invited leaders of the warring parties to experience them. Every single one of them agreed to implement policies that limited or outright banned weapons of war. It felt like I just saw it the other day. You cut right to it, with confidence meant to cut off Ava's suspicions about your story. You tell her about the strange town. That's troubling. If you're sure what you experienced was a memory from somewhere outside of Rosewall, it throws so much of what we know about memories into question. We have ample research indicating the energies that manifest as sprites and memories can't exist outside the city. So the location, time, and the actual event you believe that you saw are all deeply concerning. The location, the time, the event. The flooding, yes, Rosewall is above sea level, and as far as we know, there aren't any bodies of water that could flood it nearby. That said, if what you experienced was impactful enough to produce a memory, then there would have been a record of it somewhere, wouldn't it? The location? The place you described sounds nothing like Rosewall, and I don't know of any places nearby like that either. So this memory to have come from the Maiden's Kiss, it just doesn't make any sense. The time? As far as we know, the end of the Great War is the earliest memory on record. But this memory takes place outside of Rosewall. It raises questions about when it took place. If the event you described happened before the Great War, it would go against everything we know about memories. What you told me raises more questions than answers, I'm afraid. I want to believe you, but I'll have to do some research back at the... Oh, but look at the reopening is soon. Reopening? Of the Hall of Sparks, yes, where Rosewall stores its memories. The previous curator, my mentor, retired, so I'm taking her place. I've spent the last few months cataloging every memory we have, but the hall has been closed in the meantime. Reopening the hall is my top priority for the time being, but I'll see what I can dig up about this memory of yours. I also need to chat with Seagull. Your experience gives his story more weight. I'll have to see what he said, and what he says lines up with what you saw. For now, however, I must be off. Thank you for your time. Ava raises some major doubts about the reliability of memories that you and Seagull experienced. Could your interpretations of what you saw be more reliable than the history that contradicts? If that's true, what, where, and when exactly did you see? Money, money. Money, 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 money. So I think in terms of the raw recipe standard, it is smarter to work off my best investment of the compendium. So, I have sold Orcish Veggie Fry. That takes out a day of work. Vegetable skewers can be made in a single day. Ground beef stew requires at least double investment of vegetable broth, and then the steak, potatoes, and carrots to create it. At the very minimum, anything that I want to make that is at the wealth of being at least 100 gold, basically, requires 2-day investment, or both of them not doing doing collective jobs. So, I can either take the food drop and simply create vegetable broth, and then in between those days, prepare that broth for ground beef stew, or get the materials to make the Orcish Veggie Fry, lose a day on noodles, gain back the day on the Orcish Veggie, and slam that every 2 days, while still slamming out ingots, and then slamming out basic steins. Or I take a day of loss preparing crafted goods, and then work with the raw materials. Which means I either make money on the same day that I spend something, or I take out an entire loss of business. Or I just full send cooking. Because no matter what I do, if I sell the ingots that I make to make the profit on the items, I'm losing time. I saw how effective cooking send can be. So now let's think of this conservatively. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because what we really want to do is we want to get to here. But we can't, not yet. And then we have to go here first, because we ain't got shit we can do with pewter. Yeah, ain't shit we can do with pewter. I suppose we can craft it with tin and copper, and then sell the ingot itself, and then with this iron ingot make the Steins kit. That's 106. 106. I'm cutting even on the pewter investment versus the 52 into the iron. An iron ingot for 44. Then flips into an iron ingot for 52, which is a very even benefit on the margin. Flipping 2 into 123. It is doubling the Steins rate, but then I'm losing the day of time. So if I choose to go this route, I have to cut my dividends on my ingots, and I have to make a lot of food to make up for the investment cost, so I can recoup that business. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's always going to be in pairs of 2s. Let's do 8. Egg is 21. Flour is 9. So 30. 36. That's not a good margin. So it's always the veggie fry. is what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Save before 200 gold loss. Companion, cooking, skewers, send it. And with him, %10 chance craft level, 10% chance reset cooldown. And gets full send. Stock the shelves. Open the shop. Lose money because I'm producing money. End of the week. 8% satisfied, 91. Excuse me. 91 satisfied, 8% satisfied. The top items sold were the ingots, the fry, the stew, and the skewers. Total customers 24, total items sold 22, total quills spent with the total quills earned on the backflip of my deficit, on the best day being the day that I sold all of those on the outside sell with no shop levels gained. Item liquidation tutorial. At the end of the week, any unsold goods or unused ingredients are sold off at a discount liquidated price. If you want to hold on to some items, save good slots can be used to carry over items to the next week. So, holding on to those, which gives us the remaining days to then pump out the profit. So anything that didn't get used would then be used on that next deficit. Founding week. Week-long anniversary to the founding of Rosewall. 100% demand on northerly items, oceanic items, and savory items. Northernly. So, perfect choice for the Stein kit. Continental, savory, crisp, savory, savory. One, two. Am I ever gonna learn where I get butter? Right before 200. And now today, we produce the Steins. Based. And the vegetable skewers out of the way. With basically all of those resources down. What I think I'll do is that I'll use the transition recipes to knock out anything that does not require a basic one-day prep. Restock. 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 100% item desirability. 1+ item sell price. So, let me take it down. So, food on the shelves. These in the display case. Still no ability to present somebody there. No upgrades. Send it. Lots of quills earned. All the Stein cell. They did not like the sandwich, it seems, even though they did buy it. Skewers being bought was fine. So they were dissatisfied, yet they were also satisfied. Interesting. So we continue with our dividends. No crafted goods with raw materials waiting. So now I'll take this day to make the copper. Because I think what I'll do is I'll buy resources in day parts. So, more iron. Because it doesn't update dynamically. That's retarded. This is too rich for my blood. We'll send it for 10, which is 5, 12, which is 6. And we have the water, not enough of this. With some broccoli and lime left over. So we will send it for noodles. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do 5 and 5. Which is now 6 and 6. 8. 8. And 7. Lowest I'll go. So the way that I'll do this, make use of this because they can't do both at the same time. They'll take half day. I'm gonna do that. 10, 2. That's not enough. So with these resources, the best dividend cut using you have the highest chance to craft double down. So what we'll do is you will prepare the noodles. And then she will cook the orcish. Didn't hit the number, that's okay. And then I'll have the skewers on the shelf. This will go into the display case. And now we have stopped the come and go. Let's see what kind of thing that returns to us. I'm not playing with my nipples. My hand is just sitting right here. I do this all the time. I'm not sitting here rubbing my shit like this, horror. I don't have any other place on the side of my body to lay on or to lean on the desk. I don't do this because this hurts my back. I don't do this because I have the window pinned down and this would tear what I have pinning down the window seam. So I put my hands here where I rest them. This would be the same thing as if I was wearing a waistcoat jacket and I put it right here on the fold to put it on the inside pocket of a jacket. So now they buy those, and they should buy the skewers. Yes. And now I spent a lot, but I also earned back a lot. So I already earned back my investment doing that. So that's how I should send it. I'd have to go back and forth on the full send between both days, between both items, until I get more units. Hey there, Misty Toenails. Remember me, old sailor who helped you with your digestive thing the other day? Let him know your memory's fine. Yes, I remember you, Seagull. Oh, good. You might think that's a weird question, but folks weirdly forget me sometimes. Even the second or third time I start talking about theories with them, they're avoiding eye contact. So I was in the heart of Sparks the other day. He even said the hole of Sparks was closed, only if you respect signs. While I was then, I ran into Eva and we started chatting about our memory. She asked me about the memory I saw, which caught me off guard, but I figured it out. She's spying on me for the blobs. Elaborate. She asked me about my memory. I made a cunning move to earn her trust. Told her all about it. And then, she told me something she shouldn't have. The secret to this whole thing lies in that fountain. I realized this when I said, and I quote, "You should investigate the fountain." Uh-huh. Right? What a slip. The man's kiss gets all his water from the waking spring. But there's no way that memory comes from there. The town we saw is way too different. But maybe the fountain gets its water from somewhere else. So I'm going to have another work around the man's kiss, see if anyone there is familiar with the history of the place. Then, I'm going to visit City Hall. I don't want to, but I will for this. You don't like going to City Hall? The drums ain't been kind to me. Most folk there think I'm a loon, but just because I can't prove something don't mean it don't make no sense, don't mean it ain't true. I am gonna need help cutting through all this red tape, though. Maybe, Medi, if you see him, could you just ask about any records of water sources for the Maiden's Kiss? A request for access slip ought to do it. If I got that, won't matter what people there think of me. Alright, I'm off. Wish me luck. Glad that you got all that settled. Not gonna lie, the parts between where the video game is allowing me to play the game loop and its story is not as jarring as you would expect it to be. It could be a lot more annoying. So let's see here. We now have only water. But we're going to use this as a day to make produce. So we're going to slam the iron. It has to be in multiples of 2. And now, craft. %0 chance to craft double. Jesus. So to not lose business, because I can always just slam the pewter ingot and sell it itself. As akin to if you made it, which is just the 10%. We'll save the 10% to craft the steins to get a higher potential chance. We can't guarantee a dividend. So he can take 10, and she can take 6. I see. That changes my plan. I thought I could be able to slam more than that. Okay. So you will make what we need for today's work. You go inside the case. And you send it. They hate it. We now reach level 2. The shop doesn't sell anything that I want. They bought the pewter, but they're not happy that I didn't have anything else. I lost profit there because I did not think that I would not be able to make all of that. And I also ruined your shirt doing that. These actually stretch back. That's why I'm able to do that. There's not any other place on my body that I can rest my hand. So now we've reached renown, so we're not stuck behind the limitations of the quest. So he can make 10 a day, which means my intake should only be as high as what I can make for the return. If she helps with it, she doesn't make as much as he can make, which means I should not need to make more. This is a dividend that is a multiple of 2. Because it's 200% demand on savory. We're going to keep sending the vegetable skewers. And he basically just has a hard cap that he only has 2 days he can sell shit. Should be 15. So, am I capped at 10 on both? I can upgrade my shop now. I can learn new recipes. I can get a desirability upgrade for the shelf. I can get an additional shelf and an additional display case. And I can upgrade a greeting slot. Convince people to shop at the store. Give a greater boost to the renown at the end of the day. That's not going to happen for a while. So, she cook. You do your thing with skewers. She can make up to 12. Okay. Now, you have these. You can craft 5, and you can craft 10. 5 times 123 versus 10 times 62. One 23 times 5 is 615. 62 by 10 is 162. Not the biggest dividend. So what I should do is have him produce the ingots so that when it comes time to stock the shit, I can get away with one stocking. So put this here, put the excess there, send it. They're upset, but they're also happy, but they're also upset. I hope you send this Fox soon. They don't sell anything that I want. My previous week's projections are lower because of my choices to experiment. They're buying it, but they're mad that they're buying it. And now this is the last day in which to make my objects. Merchant Stevie Double McNouns. Open up, please. I just wanted to check in on our recent merchants. How are things going? Talk about Seagull. Seagull's hoping you could do a favor for him, actually. I put my help to last hand, but it was often unreasonable. He wanted access to water source. City Hall, I see. Since you both experienced you guys enough drinking from the fountain, it makes sense to investigate where it comes from. May already influence his behavior for the better. I shall put in a request for access to my colleague at City Hall. In the meantime, has anything else come up? Talk about Ava. What do you know about Ava? I take it she visited. She's the creator of the Hall's Parks after her previous curator retired. She's perfectly studious. She's always been enraptured by the power of the elementals in memory, specifically to hear her tell it, power and memory to inform our understanding of past events outstrips any kind of other archival work. Seagirl said it seems suspicious. Larranae is rather circumspect of anyone, and at one time he accused me of being in cahoots with the sprites due to my consistent punctuality. I should mention, however, that Eva praised me of your recent conversation with her. Since this fountain memory, the story has more solid grounding than I first believed. What else did you have in mind? Talk about me. Just minding the shops, getting used to things. Excellent. A moment of calm for a new merchant at last. Make sure you keep a pace of what's required of you, especially what S-Stock requires of you every month. They can be quite stern with those who do not meet their standards. With that, I shall take my leave. I have to catch up on including a request from Master Larranae. Good day. So based on what I have to craft, there is no benefit throwing her anywhere else other than on something she can handle. She can make beer steins. She can make casings. You can, of course, make more than she can. So she should probably craft ingots. Or, rather, you can craft 10 because there are 20 already prepared. These pretty much are the exact same. No, these are exactly the same dividend price. You give yourself the chance to produce the best you can with no doubles. And you, with no food resource to work with, craft his basic resource. And then I stock the shelves. And we send it. Satisfied and dissatisfied. We then end higher because we are making back what we have spent and the cost for iron, which means my iron is a sink. Ah, yes, the awesome establishment of Come and Go. I still hate myself for coming up with the idea. Hey, I'm not responsible, bro. You made the name. All I'm doing is I'm running with it. I don't know if you've done this already, but I'm curious to get your take on the Netflix series Adolescence. Yet another thing for me to work on with Jay. I have put in a message to Jay about it. If she ends up picking it up, it will be very fucking hilarious what we'll end up watching. Adolescence is the show that's based on the UK violence of young boys. There was a violent event involving a black UK citizen. In the infinite wisdom, or the lack thereof, of Netflix, they adapted those news stories about those violent crimes being done by UK youth and changed it from the black and or Muslim villains to a white child. So because I know as much as I do about UK politics and UK crime, I know that that story and everything involved with adolescence is basically a insecto reverso. Because it's a drama series that's meant to be critical of supposed incel violence in the UK, it is effectively, yes, you're correct, Buster, anti-white propaganda. You see, it works like this for Netflix. If it makes white people look good, make it black. If it's something that makes black people look bad, or immigrants, or exigent group, smaller or lower than the ruling class of their society, make it white. Racism is funny that way, you know? Alright. Crockpot's going fast. You wonder why people don't watch new shit. If so that they don't feel like they're left behind the curve and aren't missing out on something that they otherwise would be able to watch, that's mostly half the reason. The other half is, well, not enough time for enough content. Okay. End of the week. We get the sales figures. People are mad as fuck at me. but money. We've doubled our profits, but it's not in anything raw. We had to spend as much as we made, and we made back the majority of that benefit from that last day of sales. So the next day of sales has to sell off the rest of the ironwork. This is unfortunately a loop that's not going to help for shit. Vendor half price day. Yay. All raw materials decreased by half price. Okay, so that means I need to flip as much profit as I can into my food. So in terms of what I can prepare, fuck. I need a calculator. I need to map this out. Okay. This is now 15. So it's just doubling the profit. And the price of the lime is now partial price of veggie. Half price consumption. Price of noodles is still 36. If flour is 4, and the egg is 14, then that means the cost is 18. Out of the noodles of the 36, that is a profit of double the margin. And if that's the profit of double the margin, then that's plus 18 on the cost of the orcish veggie based on the material intake right now. Which is just the raw material, which is 6, 7, and 13. So keep those numbers in mind, chat. Plus 18, 6, 7, 13. It's 26. So 18 and 18, 26 plus 18, 44. And the cost of the orcish veggie fry, which is 116. That has a profit margin of 72. So 18 plus 72. $90. I get a 90% profit return on the orcish veggie fry if I just slam this shit right now. This, of course, is not accounting for this sticky steak stir fry here that's in my face. Because that requires less, and not only requires bell pepper, which is 7 and 16, right next to the steak on the line. And this is its own profit margin within itself anyways. Because the upside of this is that the carrot gets used in the veggie fry, but it also gets used in vegetable skewers, as well as other materials for the ground beef stew, and the vegetable broth to make the ground beef stew. So, I now have a recipe opportunity in front of me. I get a 90% profit margin flip, off of the increase of these food items. And I have to make those food items to get the profit margin. I think I send the carrots. I think that's what we do here, chat. We definitely have to full send the noodles. It would be retarded not to. Because I get the benefit of the stir fry, and it opens me up the ability to still pivot into the veggie fry. The question is how many? Because I ain't got no butter. So, let's try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, 28, 29, 30. That's 15 and 15. One in here. One in here. 20 and 20. That'd be another 10. We've spent down to 1.8 for an investment of 30. I don't think we have the recipe for the steak stir fry yet. That was a waste. That affects my resource gain by a significant margin. So now we have to send it. $15. 15. And 15. As well as the skewers. 1, 2, 7, and 7. Steak and bake. This is pure recipe. So I guess that's not a complete waste. I just know that this is expensive. We'll give this a try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That might have actually been that might have been the move, even though I felt bad to spend that much down. Okay, you have 0% chance. She has X% chance. How many noodles? 12. And 6. And 6. Stock the shelves. Give them the steak and bake. Can't do shit here. Inventory day. Cleanse at marketplace are more expensive. Send? Yeah, send. They are happy. Some people are upset because they didn't have shit to buy, I guess. I've already reached the renown level for this goal of this chapter, so this is just money now. So I've earned back 1,224 from that dividend, which is going to now slash my price. It's going to slash my profits in half. I took a negative 1.1k drop on cash, but I can make it back with a profit that I can sell from. Now they have a high demand in cookie items. So now we're back up to the cost that this is going to take of me. And that parsley is definitely a giant dip. Require Tyrogen to make gnomish noodles. This is not going to be the moment in which to dip with that shit. It does earn a lot though. This is oceanic and savory. This one is continental, bland, and for warm weather. The noodles and the skewers are not going to cut it. I at minimum have to send the stir fry and the vegetable fry. Even though these have a higher margin. This one is slightly simpler, this one is slightly easier. Going to send... Actually, no, I shouldn't. No, I shouldn't. I just need to do the margin. So we'll buy 10 of these today. And we'll buy all of these today. Actually, let's just buy the other 5. Take the hit in the shop. How many can you do? The original 12. Still haven't gotten a single goddamn percentage hit for its goddamn thing. And then you throw the noodles, which is 8. Stock the shelves. Everything's right. Yes. Send it. Big mad. Tired of complex stuff. I think simplicity is going to matter soon. Smithing so hot right now, or soon it will be. So this is like what, a hint system to tell me what I should be tracking to do next. Make back my profit from the other day. They're satisfied with it, but they want smithing and simplicity items. Comfort items will be higher. Hey, mental mouse, figure you might be good to answer. Do I know? I was going to try some conversation starters. Ah, well. Then see if our voice get all weird. More importantly, I arrive here for 2 on important business post haste. I have instigated a line of investigative inquiry at the library within City Hall. I learned certain attendants were resistant to my efforts to acquiesce information about the water records vis-a-vis the maintenance kiss fountain. Fortunately, once Master Medley request for acid paper was successfully defrocked with the Borrow, the clerks, they became amenable. They became amenable. That was Star. Star says hi. So, she called me back about something that I asked her for, which means, depending on this next conversation, I may be disappearing for about, I don't know how long. My brain says an hour and 30 minutes because it's usually not very short shopping, but I will be back for Versus Chat. Before you even handle that, we'll discuss that after this conversation. So now I gotta go talk to my father. Okay. So, we're going to take a pause break. And by that I mean, I'm about to go to the store to go get food. Immediate prepared food, which probably means fast food. And some ingredients so I can cook later through the week. I hope not to take too much time, because this timer that's currently still counting down is going to continue counting down. I'm not going to pause it. And that will reflect how much time is before versus chat. When I come back, I have that much time left to continue working on this airdrop, because I have 5 days remaining to deliver both deliverables. Yeah, that's it. If there's anything anyone wants to tell me before I leave, now would be the time to tell me. Speak now or forever hold your carls. Where is that jacket of mine? All the Carls are carling. All the Carls are carling. All the carling. All the nappy Carls. All the Carls are carling. All the Carls are carling. The Carls are carling. All of the nappy Carls. No? Nothing? Okay, cool. So, first impressions. I did not expect much of this game. But boy, by golly, after experiencing the sheer puerile dog shit, if you were to tell me that both of these games were made with involvement of employees or people that came from investment companies or suggestion companies or the dreaded SBI, by clear context of what the work shows and what is visible for our enjoyment. Clearly, Merchants of Rosewall, as a product and merchant simulator, equal or lesser to Alchemy Meister the God Captor, which basically means an age title hentai with actual repeatable and enjoyable game elements, is actually a good game. Good as in its writing is okay. It is not beating you over the head with its narrative. The characters are both memorable and have interesting designs that make them interesting and worthwhile and with your time of play. And if you don't care about none of that shit, the gameplay loop is actually good. Thoughts, opinions? Chat? None? Okay. So, we'll take a sabbatical. We'll come back to this exact screen. I will see you all in a bit. And if I end up not coming here before this timer runs out, I will see you all tonight at Versus Chat. Alright.